Gotta keep it running.
Down. Not me.
Well, hello and welcome to Monday. It's been the most Monday of Mondays that I've experienced in a while. Gentlemen, as usual, join with me over here, John Maynell George. We got Mr. Grant McIntosh. Gentlemen, happy Monday. How are you guys doing today? John, I'll start with you. I got Grant's working on his audio here, I guess.
I am doing good. I'm doing good. This was a pretty lame Monday. It wasn't nothing bad happened. So other than
nothing bad. That's a good Monday.
Right. So that's a decent Monday. I had a pretty good Monday. So Grant, how's your Monday been, brother?
This is back to work after 4 days off. Back to work.
Oh, that's a bad Monday.
Yeah,
me too.
But it was all right. It was pretty smooth. Pretty smooth.
I'm envious of that. I've been absolutely nonstop since about 6 o'clock this morning, and I got a little bit to do after we're done here, but we'll keep that ball rolling. I'll handle that when we get to it. This is my break from today. This is like my lunch break.
Nice.
There you go.
But I'm loving it. This is exactly the decompressing thing or whatever that I needed to get through it. So it helped me out here, you guys in the chat. You know, how's your Monday going? Let me feel a little bit better. You got put a whole bunch of bad things in the chat about how terrible your day has been. Make me feel a little bit better about mine.
Nice.
Man.
So we have a couple of different things to talk about here. A couple of topics we've been discussing. I'm going to start off with, we've been talking about some hunting and stuff like that. Gentlemen, what do you say we start the day off by talking a little hunting? I want to be in that conversation because that's something I'd like to, try to take advantage of myself if I'm able to do so in the very near future here.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 3 different hunting things that we could talk about. I was talking about this for a moment ago behind the scenes. I'm kind of curious. I'm looking into some hunts that I'm going to try and pull off here in the very near future. Father-in-law Rich is up in Wisconsin. He's doing his hunting. I've got all these stories about Grant and what's happening over there. I'm super jealous about. I'm curious, you guys in the chat, when was your first hunt, and how old were you when you first started like shooting a gun? I'm curious what your thoughts are on that because I've got Savannah coming up, and I don't know when to get her started or anything. I'm curious what the general opinion is on that.
For me, firing a gun, as far back as I can remember, my dad took us and we shot guns. So, and then, it goes from pellet gun hunting rabbits out, when I was living in Mexico, out in the Mesa. But first real official hunting license hunt was, it was a story I told. Okay, that wasn't my first hunt, but you guys remember last week, those of you that were here, I talked about that first whitetail I shot with that single shot 20 gauge. And that I was 16, I think. But that time frame, because we had moved from Albuquerque up to Michigan, I lived on the edge of the woods. I could just walk out my back door and I'm in the woods. So I hunted grouse. I hunted rabbits there, snowshoe. I hunted squirrel. Me and my dad, we had a little creek that ran beside us, and at a certain time of year, we'd have wood duck in there, so we hunted wood duck. So really, when I was growing up in Albuquerque, I always was really into hunting, right? But I didn't have the opportunity. My mom and dad got divorced when I was about 8, right? So I didn't have a father figure after that to take me hunting and do stuff. So I lived in Field and Stream magazine and Outdoor Life. Man, get them every month and read those, and I just fantasize. And then we moved. I ended up going to live with my dad. We moved up to Michigan, and that was Field and Stream in my backyard, and that's where I actually got to start hunting. Was right there. So that was kind of my experience. I didn't get that go sit in a deer blind with your dad when you're 8 or 9 years old or whatever. I didn't get that experience. So mine started a little later, but I educated myself about it, I guess, on Outdoor Life and Field and Stream magazine. That was me.
Right.
What about you, Grant?
Yeah, I really didn't start hunting until I was 18. I fished when I was younger, but yeah, hunting, I was 18. Just basically had a couple buddies that hunted and got me into it.
Nice.
Yeah, my background, I can't remember. Well, I was probably like, I don't know, 10 or 12, something like that. When I first started with like a pellet gun, I grew up in Corpus Christi, and then we moved out to Papalote, the middle of nowhere, when I was like 12, something like that. And immediately we had pellet guns, and we were hunting rabbits and squirrels and stuff like that with pellet guns. And that was I just remember that being a natural thing. We'd gone out, we'd done a lot of hunting. We did duck hunting and a lot of fishing when I was younger. But it was when we moved out to Papalote that we really, that was kind of like a second nature thing. That became, in certain times of the year, in wintertime, like this time of year, it was twice a week we might go out looking for rabbits across the street, walking down the street with a pellet gun. Savannah's been, I've put her behind a pellet gun before. I think she was like 6. And, I was holding her when she did it. And she got scope kissed, and I had to explain the bruise on the eye at 6.
Yeah.
Actual hunting, though, my experience was like, I say so different. It probably wasn't that different in all actuality, but like, I didn't hunt a deer until I was in my 30s. I didn't shoot a deer, and I've only ever shot one. Down here, it's hogs. And we don't have a lot of public land. So my ability to hunt was based on getting on somebody else's land. And to do that, it was like, okay, I'll take some hogs off of your land for you. And that was 100% of my hunting growing up. Took a ton of hogs, but never took a deer until I was in my 30s. And now, with Rachel's family, I'm like really envious and jealous of everybody who gets a deer because I love my venison sausage.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
Let's see. Mr. Covarrubias Ben, evening, sir. Appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. He says his first hunt was taking his son on his first youth hunt. Still has more deer than Ben does. Claim to fame was taking 2 hogs with 1 bullet.
Nice.
You can't just type that in. I need more exposition on that. That's I don't have 2 anything on it. I probably have 2 fish on 1 lure. That accidentally happens from time to time. But 2 hogs on 1 bullet, that's something that needs a little bit more explanation.
Yeah, that's impressive. That is impressive.
Brandon O'Neill says, my dad hunted as a kid. I didn't start till I was 18 when Uncle started taking him. I would love to have started sooner, but we didn't have a place or the money to go. Did my pellet gun since 13. If I'm not mistaken, Brandon, I apologize. I haven't talked to you like one-on-one in a while here. You're out of Texas. I'm not even like, I was going to ask you that. I'm not going to ask you. You got a Lone Star as your thing. You're out of Texas. So again, you don't have access to the public hunting lands like they do up north that I'm like totally envious of.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm in the same boat. I totally get that.
Yep. There we were. Sunlight fading. The hogs had just come to the bait corn.
All dramatic.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'll take it. That's how that story needs to be told. You don't get to tell the story about, hey, you shot 2 hogs with 1 bullet without the dramatic scene creating. You got to go through you got to go total Ernest Hemingway on this one.
Man, too bad you weren't YouTubing back then. Whenever that was, because that would have been a good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Well, one hunt that we did when I was I was 10. I think I was 10 years old. We went to Colorado. My uncle's a rancher up there, and the ranches up there are huge. It's like 50,000 acres. It's massive. Wow. And we went out there, cruised around on 4-wheelers, and I got 2 funny stories. And I think they if they didn't occur on the same day, they were almost damn near the same day. We go out there. We just got to Colorado. I'd never been to Colorado before. We cruise around on 4-wheelers on this massive ranch. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Have this great time doing all this. And so we were going after prairie dogs. We're trying to get rid of the prairie dogs because they have problems with that. That you got holes in the ground. They make holes in the ground. The cattle trip on them. That ruins your cattle. Yeah, breaks their wrist. So our whole thing is like, we're going to go shooting stuff. prairie dogs is the thing to shoot. And so we shoot a prairie dog, and you know, we're shooting, we're doing our whole thing, whatever. We get one. And so my dad goes, and we all got gloves on and stuff. He goes and he pulls it out of the hole, because I've never seen a prairie dog. None of us had. And that's how my family is. We're going to explain everything. You're going to have a full breadth understanding of what a prairie dog is after we're done with this. So he pulls that prairie dog out of the hole, and he does this number. He like pulls it out of the hole, and then he grabs it to show us off, and he's like, oh, and let me show you this. And he bites his glove to pull his glove off. And those things are, I guess, known for having rabies or something. Like, it was this huge, like, he did it in slow motion, like, and everybody's like, no, and he pulled his glove off. And so we're all freaking out, like, oh, well, Dad's got rabies now.
You're going to die now.
Yeah, we're 6 hours in on this trip, and Dad's got rabies. That's a total orchard trip. Then a couple of hours later, we're pulling up on the four-wheelers. This whole trip was an absolute adventure. Like, the entire week was like this. But we're a couple hours more in now after Dad gets rabies from the prairie dog. And we stop at this spot, and they got a dog. His name's Rocky. I remember Rocky. It's a long time ago, but, you know, never forget Rocky. Rocky only had 3 legs. He'd been bit by a rattlesnake. So they had to surgically remove one of the legs. So he's hopping around, chasing us on the four-wheeler, and we all stop. And there's, like, my dad and a couple of older cousins, and then, like, I don't know, 10 kids that are all, you know, 8 to 10 years old, 4-year-old, so whatever the age is. And we're all looking at all this cool stuff that we'd never seen before. And Rocky is right next to the four-wheeler. He's standing there. He's looking up at us and barking like he's excited. He wants to do whatever we're looking at. We look down at him, and Rocky is standing on top of a rattlesnake. He's holding the damn rattlesnake down with the one good arm, like so that the rattlesnake can't move. So he realizes that there's a rattlesnake under him. He attacks the rattlesnake. He ends up tearing it into a couple of different pieces and stuff like that. That's kind of his purpose, was for rattlesnakes. He knew what he was doing after losing the first leg. So my dad goes, he's got these couple of pieces of rattlesnake, so he shows everybody the pieces of rattlesnake. He takes the head, showing everybody the head, and he milks it, shows you how to milk a rattlesnake, and then he takes the body, and he's showing us the tail, and how you tell if the snake is poisonous. One of the things you look at is the split scales on the tail if you get that close. Then he goes back to the head, and he's showing everybody the head again, and this is like a while later, you know, it's been a bit. This thing is torn into pieces. He's dead. And he's like grabbing it by the base of the tail, and that thing whips around and bites him on the hand.
Yep, still will.
My dad got prairie dog rabies and bit by a rattlesnake in the course of like an afternoon.
Wow.
I'm sorry about being long-winded about that. That's my Colorado story. I need to do a vlog. I need to do a thing on that, because there's a lot more that happened on that. But
I was going to ask you, you got family in Colorado with a ranch. You should be going up there and doing elk hunting and all that. But after that story, maybe I can see why you don't go up there no more.
That's why I don't get invited. I haven't been invited back since.
They're like, the Flatlanders come up here and get bit by rattlesnakes and rabies.
I'm not going to do it. I've got other stories about like why my dad and my uncles and probably like you know, to the same extent why I don't get invited on these things. But that is telltale. That is exactly why I don't get invited to more places like that.
That's awesome. Oh. So Ben just had them line up perfectly, and the 270 did the work. Love my 270.
Yeah, I don't have one, but I'm familiar with it. That's a heck of a round.
My 270 is
Monica.
I bought it.
Hey, Monica.
I bought it in like 1991.
Ben says maybe the rabies and the poison counteracted each other. Have you ever seen that episode of Simpsons where what is it? It's the guy who runs the nuclear plant. He goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Oh my God, you have like every disease." And he's like, "What? I don't understand. Explain." And the doctor's like, "Yeah, you have like all these diseases." And he's like, "This is kind of how it is." He piles up all the dolls like to show the diseases, and he's got this little door on the table, and he's like, "You've got all these diseases, and they just can't fit through the door all at the same time. But if one of them trickles through, then they all pull through the door, and you're going to die." And the guy's like, yes, you mean I'm invincible? The doctor's like, no, that's exactly not what I said. He's like, yes, I'm invincible. That's my dad.
Ridiculous. Oh, let's see. Oh, Brandon's done it too. So Ben, you're not that special.
Oh man, now I feel like there's a certain level that I have to live up to on this.
Yeah, next time you go hog hunt, you got to get 2 of 1 round.
I tell you what, my weapon of choice is my 30-30. I've got that thing sight. I can spot dimes at 100 yards on that thing. Gonna have to take a shot at that. I'll see if I can't get a twofer.
Yeah, I don't know if it was our last live stream that gave me the bug or just seeing everybody on their deer stands because the deer.
Yeah, that's how I was feeling.
I've looked at my old pictures of where I had all that meat hanging in my fridge from when I had a deer and that red deer both. I'm like, dang, I need to do that again. So I started looking up some local meat hunts around $100-200, and maybe I'm gonna try to get into one of those after my back heals up. But season's
They have those?
Yeah, look on
I never even
Texas Hunting Forum, right? Texas Fishing Forum. They also have down the side using Texas Hunting Forum. You can check in there, or you can just look right on Craigslist, and they'll be like, "Hey, we're located in this part of Texas. You pay this much. You come in. You got a stand. You shoot whatever." And so you just got to be careful because some of them are like, "Yeah, it's $100," and then you get there and like, but if you shoot this many points, it's this much more. If you shoot this, it's this. So you want one of those. Hey, it's whatever the price is for doe spike. Usually the meat hunts are does and spikes, and that's it. So, but I need some venison in my life again. It's been a while.
Yeah, same here. Rich is up there right now. They have set up they've got 2 leases. I think they have 2 leases. And I think I mean, it's dark out now, so they're probably not on. They're drinking right now. They're having a good time.
They should be here.
I'm sure they're up there. Yeah, right. Well, now they're having fun. They're out there. I haven't gotten any text messages, so they haven't shot anything. My phone would be blowing up if they shot something, but I guarantee they come back with like 300 pounds of venison sausage.
Yeah, those are good times. Grant, did you do any? I know you talked about last live stream. You're going to go do a little bow hunting or something or other. So
yeah,
what
yeah, happened? Well, I'll work backwards. Yesterday afternoon, took one of my old good buddies, his son, 7 years old. We got out in the blind at like 1 o'clock. He had an awesome looking spot. Basically, it was the corner of a 40-acre woods. Hardwoods, and we sat from 1 o'clock to dark, and I caught a glimpse of a deer about 80 yards or so through the woods for like 2 seconds. I was like, oh, there's a deer. Oh, where's it going?
It's gone.
And that was it.
Dang it. So you only got out one day?
Well, then Saturday we had basketball. Son did good playing basketball.
Good to hear.
Friday evening, I went to a spot I'd never been to with an old friend, and had standing beans on one side and cut beans on the other side of a fence row I was in. Thought just any minute big buck's going to come cruising by, but I had 4 does come out about 200 yards, about 30 minutes before dark, worked their way across the cut beans, and then worked their way away from me. And then right at dark, I seen a big body buck come out. I couldn't see, what kind of rack he had. It was right before it was too dark to shoot.
Yeah. Dang it.
Yep. But we got gun season's coming up Friday, so I'm going to try to leave work early, either maybe Wednesday and Thursday, to get out since it gets dark so early. Heck, it's dark at 5 o'clock. Get off at 3:30. It's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's gun season most of Texas already. So we're seeing all the guys posting their pictures of their deer and stuff. But of course, we're seeing all the bow hunters do it now. All the gun hunters are doing it. So
yeah, I've got several people I know locally killed some nice bucks with their bows.
Jealous.
Yeah, I'm hurting. Even talking about this, like, it's making me hungry. My stomach's growling.
Venison sausage. Man, I make a
And it's not.
jalapeno cheddar summer sausage. Venison sausage. Oh my goodness. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Mm.
So
And it's not fair.
Peter.
For one, you guys, the deer that you get are insane compared to what we see down here. Like I once saw, I swear, it was like a 16 pointer that would not have cleared the hood of my Silverado if I'd hit him on the side of the road. And, for two, I've got a smokehouse. Literally, I could walk a deer a block up the road to a smokehouse up here for sausage. And I just don't have a deer to take to them. And it costs like $20. Like the price is insane.
Wow.
Nice. Just gotta go get the deer.
That's it. It blows my mind that they accept deer year round, but I'm not going to question it.
Yeah, that's you can get
It's a little
exotics
weird.
year round, but yeah, that's a little weird. Now I can see
Whatever.
maybe
I don't care.
I got some ground venison in my freezer for my last deer, and I decide, you know what, we should do something and make some. It's now June. We should make some sausage with that, and we take it to them to make it into sausage.
Yeah,
Eh,
I
maybe something
think
like
that's what it is.
that. Yeah.
It's exotics. They do take exotics. They don't take hogs, which is the whole reason that I don't go there because of the amount of hog stuff that we've done over the years. I'm like, oh, you don't take hogs? No. Now that I'm older, I'm like, I don't care. If I get a deer, I'll take it to you. I don't care what time of year it is. I'm going to take it to you.
Right.
Cool. All right. What are we going to talk about?
We got winter coming up.
Yeah, we do.
What was it? You and I were talking. What was the thing? There was something you and I were talking about just a couple of minutes ago.
Well, that you had a question on your video about the Texas rules, John. Is that what you were wanting to talk about?
Yeah, that Texas big time Texas hunts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So I'm gonna let you guys in on this thing. So Texas has these cool hunts that you can sign up for. There's different ones. There's like ones where I can sign up for a certain area and get a doe or buck or exotic or something. But they have the Texas big time Texas hunts. Now these, here's the names of them. Okay, there's the Powderhorn Cast and Blast. So you're shooting and fishing. There's the Texas Grand Slam. That's a desert bighorn sheep, whitetail deer, pronghorn, and desert mule deer. There's the ultimate mule deer hunt. There's the premium buck hunt. Like 5 people win that one. Nigel antelope safari, right? That's what Stanley wants to hunt. Whitetail bonanza. Again, 5 people can win that whitetail bonanza. Exotic
Anything that's
safari.
bonanza, I'm in on.
Yeah, exotic safari. That's one I really like to win. And there's a gator hunt. There's a big time bird hunt. There you go down there, waterfowl and doves. So there you go, Grant. And there's a wild hog adventure. Okay, so these are all things you apply for. It's a drawing, right? And you pay a few dollars. I don't remember exactly. I've done them for the last couple of years, but it escapes me. It's like $10 or $15, whatever. And then if you get drawn, you get a license. But it's not just you won, you can go to this location and you can shoot this. Good luck. It's not that. So I'm going to read one of these to you, okay, just so you guys have an idea of what we're talking about. It's much more than just going and shooting something. So this is the information on the Texas Grand Slam, okay? You're going to, if you win, right, you're going to be one of the few hunters to ever hunt bighorn sheep in Texas. Only 2 or 3 bighorn hunting permits are offered each year on state land. So first of all, just getting to hunt bighorn sheep in Texas is exclusive. You're going to get complimentary food and lodging during the hunt. You're going to be staying at a ranch, right? You're going to receive taxidermy for each trophy that you've shot, right? You're going to get the expertise of professional guides throughout the hunt. So you're going to get, it's guided. It's not just go out there and shoot something. And you can bring along a non-hunting guest. That's that one hunt. All of them are pretty much like that, except some of them say, hey, you can bring on a hunting buddy. So not only you get to hunt, but your buddy gets to hunt too, vice versa, right? So these are big time. You win one of these, man, you're set. You got a guide. You get taken care of. All of them, not all of them offer the taxidermy, but all of them offer the food, the lodging, the guide, all that stuff, right? So the other day, I'm looking at my social media because I apply for these too, the ones I like. I'm looking at social media, and somebody on Facebook attacks Texas Parks. Well, doesn't attack, but posts about Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, who runs our stuff and runs these hunts, and says, "Do you know that out-of-staters are winning these hunts and going on these hunts?" And so when I first hear this, I'm like, "That's BS, right? This is a once-in-a-lifetime hunt for people." And I'm thinking of Texans who, I ain't got a lease, I ain't got, my own land. I don't really get to hunt unless I get one of these hunts, So it's like, why are you letting out, and Grant, you'll have a different opinion, maybe, I don't know. But why are you letting out-of-staters come in and take these primo hunts from Texans, right? So just based on that, how you feeling, Stanley? I got more info.
I don't know. There's a little bit to unpack with that. For one, those are all trips that are really kind of rare. That's not something that you just get to do. That's not something that for like 99% of the time, that is not something that, like, any of that is something I would get access to, I would get to do. So it's all a special endeavor. It's all a special thing.
Yep. Now,
that having been said, it's a Texas special thing. And as a Texan, I don't really want, if everybody else in the world is able to get in on that and take it from me, I'm like, I don't have public land. This is not something that I could just go and do. I can't sign up for regularly. I can't do that. I do have to be fair. I just entered a boat contest in Florida that I should not have been able to enter. So I have to be open and honest about that. I should not have been allowed to enter that boat contest, but I did, and that's on them. And I think it's on them. Like, I consider that's your fault. You screwed up. You allowed me to enter. So I have to at least be honest about that when I'm judging somebody who gets in on what I'm hearing is the alligator hunt. Of course, the bighorn, the nilgai, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I got to be at least fair about it. But I think Florida should shut that down. I should not have been able to get in on the boat thing. If I don't get in next year, I'm not going to be mad about it. At the same time, maybe we should go ahead and shut this down and make it a Texas thing. Like, how hard would it be to make it to where you have to have had a Texas license for a year before you can enter into this? I can't see how this is a thing.
It'd be simple to do that if they wanted to do that. So, Grant, out-of-stater, what are your thoughts? How you feel about it?
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I can really relate to is so for me, the only thing I've ever done, tried to get out of state, is for Kentucky. They have a special drawing for a duck hunt over there. And being
they allow non-residents to get in it.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I have never drawn. I've done it for like 4 years. It cost, I think, $8 to even get in the drawing. But you're supposed to, each year you get 3 points. And after you get, I think, 10 points, you automatically get a drawing.
Okay, so these drawings are similar. They tell you it's set up to where the more times you've entered, the greater your odds. There's no enter so many times and you get drawn, but the greater your odds. Okay, so my first reaction was more like Stanley, is like, dang it, keep this for Texans. It's Texas. The out-of-staters can pay a regular license. They can go on one of these leases or whatever and pay the money and hunt all that. Let the Texans have this, right? And then I was thinking about funding for Texas Parks and Wildlife to help them everything. And if I limit the funding to just Texans versus people from all 50 states, I don't know how many people enter these from outside of Texas, but I would assume it's a good sized number. So I don't know what the answer is. I kind of, on one hand, I like, yeah, it's Texas, it's for Texans. But on the other hand,
And
Texas Pardon, this is a good fundraiser for them. And some of these are ranches and associations like the Antelope Association or whatever that are donating stuff, right, to participate in this. They get their name out there, but so it's not like taken away from Texas resources. So it's tough. Now I can tell you how many winners there are total, and how many were out of state in a minute. But that's kind of how I've gone back and forth on it. One part of me says keep it for Texas, another part, hey, Texas Parks and Wildlife using it to raise funds to better manage our wildlife and stuff. I'm not totally against that, right? So,
another thing to consider with this, being out here, you're familiar with this. You've seen this driving through the area. We have the Eagleford Shale oil field. They take up a large amount of real estate with their leases between San Antonio and Corpus Christi. It's a huge hotspot for it. Now, the land mass on a lot of these leases are ranches where hunting would be a thing. These would all be places that we could go to hunt if they weren't being leased out by oil companies. So, that having been said, the money that would have been available for hunting is not there. And allowing people to come in and doing these huntings, it does raise funds, and it does raise kind of like an awareness for Texas and hunting and things that we offer here. I would be remiss if I didn't at least acknowledge the fact that, getting people in on that from out of state, it does raise awareness for Texas hunting.
Yeah.
And therefore raise a few bucks for it. So
I'm going to read one more for you before I go over the winners. So this is the newest one. They've had one season of it already, and now this season, people have already been drawn for this year, right? And it's called the Powderhorn Cast and Blast. This is down in your neck of woods, Stanley. This
that sounds like fun, by the way, right there. Just the fact that it's cast and blast, I'm sold.
Yeah. So if I go back real quick, there's just a little blip on it. Hunt and fish this epic 15,000 acre sportsman's paradise on Matagorda Bay. Matagorda Bay. Right down there on the coast.
That's right up here.
Here's what you get. You'll be the second winner of this. Oh, we lost Grant for a minute. Hunt whitetail, sandbar, and axis deer, right? Plus a variety of waterfowl. You get to hunt all that. Fish for red, speckled trout. It's all inshore fishing. 11 miles on the Matagorda Bay front, right? Includes a full guide, all your bait and tackle, cleaning, packaging the food, complimentary meals and lodging on site. It's a historic ranch house that you're going to stay at where they're going to lodge you and feed you. You get
that food is so good.
Wildlife management area staff to help guide you through the aspects of the hunt. And then you can bring along a hunting or fishing partner or guest. So in other words, the person you bring with you on this one gets to actually hunt and fish. So
the value of that, and I know they're not handing out many of them, but the value of that is, I got to assume it's in the thousands. That's got to be like a $2,000 endeavor.
At least, yeah. Look up some of these hunts, and you'll be like, "Oh, I'm going to pay how much for a Nigal?"
Oh yeah,
they provide lodging and food.
All inclusive lodging. Hunting, it very easily could be, because it's not going to be like 1-star lodging or 2-star food that you're getting.
Yeah.
Real quick, let's say hi to a couple of guys. We've got. Sorry, I'm playing catch up here. The NBA is in the house. What's up, man? I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us, sir. It's always a pleasure. We got Bait the Hook. Evening. Appreciate you coming and joining us.
Yep.
Who else? I don't want to miss anybody. Bipper 23. That's a new one to me. Does anybody know Bipper?
Welcome aboard, Bipper.
Yep. Appreciate you coming and hanging out, man.
Cheers. What's up, NBA? Bait the Hook. Danny Baker. Blipper. Good to see you.
And Danny Baker. So we were talking about. I'm gonna just point this out, Mr. Baker, sir. I apologize for the very late notice on getting you on this. It's been an absolute total 100% Monday, so I'm sorry about that. We were going to try and have, or I was going to try very late notice having Danny Baker coming and hanging out with us today. I didn't pull that off because I am just a total drastic mess today. But we are going to make that happen. Danny, I'm sorry about that.
Let me close out that discussion we just had. So
go ahead.
There's 14 winners. Some of those have like 5 winners. The whitetail bonanza and all that. There's 14 winners. Of those 14, 3 were from out of state.
So I can't really cry about the numbers.
No. 11 were Texans, 3 were out of state, but I wish they would. They're not going to tell you, but I wish I knew the number of out-of-state people that applied, so you could say, hey, they got this much money from out-of-state folks. That the out-of-state folks didn't really get nothing, but Texas got the money. You know what I mean?
Would you think it's a fair? I have no idea. I have zero idea how many people entered on this, period, bar none. But would you think that it's a fair assumption that it was 20 people from out of state who tried to get in on this? Because if that's the case and only 3 of 20 got in, I'm like, I can't not support that.
Yeah. I would assume it was probably a lot more than 20.
Probably was.
I would think in Texas, there's probably in the thousands. So out of state, I would assume it's probably in the hundreds. Because New Mexico, Oklahoma, they don't have these hunts.
Yeah.
Right? So just like Texans love to go hunt in New Mexico, especially the elk and stuff like that, the New Mexico hunters love to come down here for this kind of stuff. I mean, you can't hunt gators in New Mexico. You can't hunt gators in Oklahoma, right?
No, guy.
So,
you can't do cast and blast.
No. Unless you're cast and blast on a lake for ducks and crappie, I guess. But hell, Grant, you could set up some cast and blast right where you're at. Just saltwater.
Can you guide for that, Grant? Could you do that? Like if I wanted to hire you to get me into a cast and blast?
And I'm not sure what the rules are in Illinois.
I'm not sure what that is for a guide here either.
You have to be licensed here in Texas. And
if you say, hey, I'm going to be here next weekend, can we go shoot something and can we go catch something? I mean, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to offer you money for that would be a different ballgame.
Probably so, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. And I know because I'm familiar with the 6-pack license for charter fishermen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm familiar with there being some kind of thing that you have to do to be a guide. I don't know. If I wanted to go fishing at the beach, I can go fishing at the beach. And if somebody wanted to join me fishing at the beach, we can go. But if somebody was like, hey, I know you're busy, I'll pay for your gas to come fishing with me at the beach, I have to have paperwork and probably insurance and stuff like that. And whatever paperwork I have to have to do that is probably BS. I'm just guessing it's probably BS.
And if you want to be a guide on our freshwater lakes, you get that guide license through Texas Parks and Wildlife, and I'm thinking it's $100-ish. But a guide on the coast and saltwater, you got to get qualified as a captain and all that, and a guide.
Yeah.
Coast Guard. It's a lot more involved, a lot more work on your part, and it's a little more expensive too. So if you want to do it,
and the restrictions, I know the charter restrictions are a little bit weird. Like, I don't know. I know there's something with like snapper for the saltwater charter guys where your I don't know, your limits are different.
Thank you, Mark.
You have to go. Oh, Mr. Larson, I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. You caught me on an empty glass.
That is something. I don't think we have any of our Michiganders in here. I don't think we have any of our Michiganders in here, but I look into if you want to be a guide on the Great Lakes, it's not like Texas freshwater where you just can pay Texas Parks and Wildlife and go be a guide. On the Great Lakes, it's also managed by the Coast Guard, so you got to go through Coast Guard system to qualify to be a fishing guide up on the Great Lakes. So I looked at that as a retirement thing, but
Do you happen to know, Mr. Brandon O'Neill is asking about how much it is to enter those those hunts you were talking about? I'm assuming it's probably different prices.
Well, no, each one has the same price. But Brandon, here's what I'll tell you: I've entered the last 2 years. You can't enter now, so it won't show you the price. Wait a minute, let me make sure. Let me click on this real quick. $9. $9 per hunt. Now, if you put in, there's a $5 administrative fee. So put in for like 5 of the hunts, $9 each of those, and then there are $5 their administrative fee. If you put in one $9 hunt, you still got a $5 fee. So you might as well, make it worth your money. But yeah, it's $9. And
Yeah, Danny, I've looked into that myself. Go ahead. I apologize.
That are not the big time hunts. They're the type that wildlife management areas where they have so many doe permits, so many bucks they're going to allow, and you can put in for those each year on a drawing basis, and they're about $5 or $10. And then the more times you put in, again, like Grant said for that one he was talking about, you get a little greater chance of winning. And I've been putting into those, but I ain't got drawn on none of them yet. Some of those you can go as standby. So you show up morning of the hunt. They got a location you got to be at. And if somebody who won does not show up and you're first one in line, boom, you get to hunt. So, and there's several down Choke Canyon area and down south of there. And then there's a few up here. I always put in for the ones right around here, San Antonio area.
Yeah, I had no idea about any of that. That's something I'm going to be looking into. I'm getting tired of hog. I want something different.
I'll send you some links, young man.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Absolutely. What else is going on the chat?
We got Monica says, no, just go. Don't pay. Just go and have fun, in reference to the doing a guide like on the beach, paying for gas. Yeah. And that's I've never actually taken anybody out, anything like that, but I've run into people down there. I'm happy to run into people down when we're fishing. I don't do a good job announcing it because I'm a lot more antisocial than I come across, but I have no problems. If we're down there fishing, somebody stops by and wants to fish with us, come on down, have some fun with it. I totally agree. I'd rather enjoy the experience than try to squeeze a couple of bucks out of somebody.
Yeah. Right. I've never really...
Sorry, she also says, when I get to Illinois, we are going to come visit Grant because Grant's going to take him out. And Grant squeeze them for all their... No, I'm kidding.
No, yeah, Monica's supposed to be moving to Illinois first of the year, so maybe we'll get to see Monica catch a fish or three.
Fish or three, I like that. Oh, okay, Ben. I did see that story. That was one we were supposed to talk about. That's the other story we were supposed to talk about that you guys made me forget. No, you didn't make me forget. But you guys forget as well as I did. They did shut down. So we have state water snapper, red snapper, and then we have federal water. Federal water is always it's open for 3 weekends and closed. And it's just weird. But the state, for the most part, has been all year. If you're in state waters, that's up to 9 miles out, you can catch red snapper. Well,
except that you're never going to catch a keeper.
Some people catch them. But they just announced that it's being closed. I think it's November. Yeah, January.
It's today. Today is the last day. I was trying to convince my dad yesterday to go out today. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah, start reading the story behind that. And it's a whole amount of fish taken type thing where the federal government says, okay, states, you can manage yours, but you have to keep it within these limits and blah, blah, blah. And the bottom line, I think they said Texas caught 60,000 pounds more red snapper than they were supposed to. And I'm thinking, how do you even know if, okay, I caught 5 red snapper? You're not measuring, you're not weighing them. How do you know how much weight? I can only base it on those the head boats that go out with 50 people on them, and they all catch and they're basing it on that, not the typical recreational fishermen on their own boat out there. But to me, it's a bunch of bulls. If they're in state waters, state of Texas should manage it, period, how they want.
Yes.
Federal waters, those idiots, I'm sorry, pardon my French, can manage.
No, I agree. Go ahead.
Which has been horrible, But yeah, let them manage it out there. But in the state waters, let the states manage it. So that's been.
I totally. I couldn't agree more with that. And the deal on that was, what's being counted is commercial, not the recreational guys. The rec anglers are a totally different ball game. The rec anglers are at the mercy of what the commercial guys are doing, and it is horseshit.
And that's even worse. There should be, hey, commercial, you get, this is yours. You hit that.
And Grant, thank you, by the way. I just saw that. I appreciate that.
I had to toast it.
Yeah, I'm still empty over here. I'm sorry. But I toast you anyway.
An empty plastic cup.
That would be cool, Danny.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, if somebody usually, not being a guy, but if I'm going to take a couple people out on the boat with me and they usually, hey, guy, we'll bring the beer, we'll pay for gas. I'm like, okay, cool. You want, chip in some money because gas ain't cheap no more. That's fine. But just, hey, we want to pay you to take us fishing. We want to catch, this kind of, no, I'm not doing all that. That sounds like
the problem. The problem with that is it's one thing if you're hanging out and having fun, it's a good time. The problem that comes up is when there's an expectation of like, I'll pay for, I'm going to buy you beer. I'll buy you all the gas you need and everything, but you got to put us on fish. And yeah, there's no guarantees on that. That's why I have zero desire to do like actual charter fishing or anything like that. I'm not making any promises. I get skunked. I do all my stuff on YouTube, and my good days you see on YouTube. My bad days, you don't see that. I don't have to post that video. I can scrap that footage, make myself look good, but I got plenty of bad days where I get skunked, and you don't hear anything about it. And I am definitely not going to go through the rigmarole of somebody paying for gas and doing that whole 9 yards, and then being like, "Hey, what the heck? You didn't get me into any fish. I thought you were like a good fisherman."
No, I'm talking about friends or somebody who's not somebody who fishes a lot, but all of a sudden, hey, John, you want to take me and my kid out or whatever, and we'll chip in on whatever. Yeah, that's fine. We'll go out and see what we can catch, type thing.
I'm talking about my friends. My friends are jerks.
No, I don't. I have a small. Keep your circle small, right? I have a small circle of friends. You guys watch my videos. There's probably 2 people I've had on my boat, other than the wife, right, who is the boat captain. Other than her fishing, there's probably been 2 people you've seen on all my videos. I don't invite a bunch of people to go out and do that just because I want to enjoy myself. So I don't want drama.
There is a whole thing, like I have a whole philosophy that has been instilled in me from my family where it's like, the things that you have, like if you get invited on a boat, for one, you earned that invite. And for 2, don't feel bad if you don't get invited. That's not something that happens very often. You have to work your way into that. Don't get all mad if you're not. You have to put in time. You have to be. There's a very limited number of times that you get to go fishing out on a boat in the year, and of those limited amount of times that you go out, only so many people get to go out. You get drawn onto that trip. They get invited out. Those people are the ones who are. It's not just like offering beer and gas. You're somebody who scrubs decks, and you're offering some kind of value.
That's exactly when you get a boat, you're going to have people that are on fringe friends. Acquaintances you work with, you get along with.
You can have friends you never knew you had.
Hey, if you're going fishing, just let me know, and if I'm going fishing, it's usually Audrey's with me, Joel's with me, Shay's with me. There isn't a seat on my boat, right? If there is a seat on my boat, it's one of those days where I want to go fishing alone and I don't want to take you. So yeah, it's hard to get on somebody's boat if they've got fishing buddies and family that go fishing with them. It's just so hey, I know Billy Bob just got a boat the other day. I'm going to talk to Billy Bob, see if he'll take us out fishing. Billy Bob's already got 15 people in line before you. Right, so
he's got friends he never knew he had.
Well, don't be butthurt if he's taking his family and his closer friends fishing because that's how it works, right? You don't want to be out on a boat with somebody you don't know real well, first of all, because it just could turn awkward.
Yeah, it can be bad. You're right about that. You never hear about the times where the motor broke down on you in the middle of the ship channel.
Yeah. I've been towed in.
Yeah, I've been towed in more times than I care to count. Got towed in one time. We were offshore, and this was 15, if not 20 years ago. And we were fishing on my dad's old boat, and the motor broke down, wouldn't start. So we're sitting there and we're fishing, we're having fun. It was a gorgeous day out. We weren't really sweating it too much, but we're like, it's getting a little bit later. Then we're like, we kind of got to end this. We got to get this whole thing out of here. And we were drifting out of the shipping lanes. So, we were every minute going by, we were drifting farther and farther away from where the traffic was going to be headed back in. So we see a boat coming by and we're like, oh, okay. So we're waving this guy down and he's, 3-4 miles away. And we're like, he's not going to see us. There's no way he can see us. So I'm like, let's pull the flare guns. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? And we're not on fire. It's not an emergency. I'm like, no, but seriously, like we have flare guns. He's not seeing us. Let's play with them. Let's have some fun. That's the whole point of having a flare gun. So we all kind of sat up. My dad and my brother and everybody were all kind of like, yeah, I guess that kind of is the point. It's like $10 for a flare. Let's fire it off. Who cares? And whatever. Yeah. This is the time to do it. Let's not let things get too bad. So we're like, yes, we get kind of pumped up about it. We're going to fire off the flare gun. We've never fired a flare gun before. So we're like, okay. So we get the flare gun. We go to fire that thing. And I swear to God, that thing did not make it 3 feet out of the gun. It fizzled like a black cat. Like, it just went down into the water.
Were they
expired? And we looked at my dad. Oh, it had been expired for like 10 years. It was the most. And we all looked at my dad like, you cheap bastard. We're all going to die now because of you. The packaging was all yellowed.
That was my one. I got a video, I think, where I towed somebody in. They were going out the Port Aransas jetties, just drifting. Hey, help! And all these other fishermen around were like, whatever. And so finally, we were on the opposite side of the channel. We were at North Jetty, they're at South Jetty, and we're like, all right, let's go. Their boat was bigger than my boat. It's like all these nice boats out there ignoring them. But we towed them all the way back into the marina. It was like 5 miles an hour, full speed. And how it is out by the jetties. It's rough out there. And I've got a small boat. So towing another boat sucked. And then when we got in, they're like, hey, I got a little bit of money. Nope. I said, all you do is pay it forward. Next time you see somebody out there in trouble, you just help them out. So
I've been on both sides of that. I've been towed and I've helped towed. I've never accepted a dime. And thankfully, I've never had anybody charge a dime to help me out either. So I've offered, and same thing. It's always a pay it forward.
Yeah. Had a guy on Calaveras at night. Joel was mad because it ended our fishing trip early. It was about midnight. We towed him in. And it's funny. We get him all the way to the dock. And then the first thing he says to me is, I don't have no money. I was like, okay, I didn't ask you for any money,
Yep.
But he's gonna make sure I get him in before he tells me he had no money. I get someone else been like, oh, you don't have no money? Well, let's stay out here and have fun in the dark.
Yeah, Brandon says, how about them guys who always try to invite themselves and their family and friends hunting on people's properties, even people they don't know? You got a friend like that, gets old real fast. Dude, I've got a close friend probably 5 miles down the road. He's got a very large ranch, and they do a lot of deer hunting, and they're good friends. I've never once asked them, not once in my life have I ever asked them to step foot on that land. I've been invited. I've been hunting on their land. I've been invited once in my life.
That's what you wait for, though.
Very honored for the opportunity that I had. It was probably 10 years ago. Honored for that. And I'm never that's just, like you said, it's rude. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to invite myself. I'm going to offer him fish, and I'm going to try to be a good neighbor and everything else. Yeah. But it's the same thing. He gets hit up by, every friend he's ever had and didn't even know he had, and I'm not going to be a part of that crowd.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Monica, I'm not too fond of kayaks either.
I'm not either, actually.
I'm too old and broken to kayak. I've thought of it a couple years ago, but my back wouldn't make it out on a kayak. So I'm like, screw it. I got a boat. I'm good. But they can do some things that some areas they can get into that my boat just can't. So I'm a little jealous. But
You know,
really
part of my deal is I like standing up when I'm fishing.
you can do that in these kayaks now.
Yeah.
If you have a stand up, that's a different ball game. I'm cool with that. But sitting down and casting, I have a real hard time with that.
Sure, I'm old. I can sit down and cast. We're running out of time here.
We are on the last couple of minutes here. On that note, guys, it's holidays. You know, we got the whole holiday season coming up. So, gentlemen, on that note, do we have anything fun and awesome coming up in the works that everybody can look forward to? YouTube, future live streams, anything like that, things that we need to be discussing?
2 things. I got 2 things.
What you got? And anybody in the chat, drop it now. Let us know what you got going on while we're figuring this out. Go ahead,
This
John.
fishing boat light upgrade video is going to get done probably this week. Finally, back going out kind of put a damper on that. So that's one thing. The other thing, I know my video probably looks as well as everybody else's on here, but I've learned something. In the near future, this, my Canon, right, my big camera, this is going to become my webcam. I found a way to make this my webcam.
That's interesting.
There are a couple hurdles you have to get by. One, software, but now Canon offers it, and 2, battery life, because these things only run for about half an hour on video before it dies, and we do hour streams. But I found ways over those hurdles, so I'll share that guy with you guys in the near future. But so my camera game is going to step up on the webcam. So that's 2 things from me.
So we'll be able to see that big catfish over the top of your head.
That's actually a red drum, not a catfish. But yeah, you will be able to.
That's why you need the camera.
Help you out with that, Grant. There you go. That's a 40-inch red drum.
That's a beast of a fish.
That's my personal best so far. I ain't going to try to put it back up there because I'll drop it. The one above it is my mahi-mahi over there. This one over here is catfish. All right, Grant, what you got coming up?
Like I said, I'm going to try to get out bow hunting after work, probably Thursday. Try to leave work a little early.
Do it.
Gun season Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh.
You can actually bow hunt if you have a gun tag. I don't care nothing about getting a gun tag, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So you don't gun hunt deer at all, or?
I don't. I don't get the excitement. It's just the last deer I shot, which was this, the one down in the bottom there.
The one in our video that starts up the show, right? Isn't that the last deer you shot?
Well, that was the last one I shot with a gun.
Oh, that one over there. Okay.
Yeah. I don't get the excitement with the gun. I mean, it's easy. Pull up, put the scope on it, it's dead. You know, I don't get the enjoyment, I guess, the adrenaline rush like I do with bow hunting. If I'm bow hunting, I see a deer, I'm excited. I mean, I get that heart pumping. You know, just with the gun, I'm not like that.
I am with a gun, so I'm good with shooting it with a gun.
Just getting on the land with a gun is not really exciting. So.
Not with the car.
Speaking my language.
What about you? What you got coming up for the holidays, Mr. Stanley, or soon?
I am right now, like if you haven't noticed, I'm enjoying a little bit of time off after, everything we get going on. We do have our seasonal giveaway announcement thing coming up, and there's a couple of stupid strings I got to, finish off so that I can, but I want to finish everything tied up in a nice bow before I go announcing it. We'll have a live stream to the whole 9 yards on that, but that is out there. We are going to have a nice giveaway we do every year on this channel. That's coming up. I've got some Patreon stuff coming up. I'm going to try something new. So for Patreons, you got something cool coming your way for the holiday season. Our family is going to be going to Canyon Lake for Thanksgiving. Ooh. And I got my brother Luke has moved down from Vermont. So we're going to actually get to spend some time with him, maybe do a little bit of freshwater fishing. I'm hoping to catch some fish. He moved. He's in Corpus Christi now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I know it's been a whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind last couple of weeks. All kinds of stuff to talk about. I got a couple things I can't even talk about. We got some fun stuff coming up in the works. It's probably going to be early 2022 stuff that we're already working on. It's coming up. We got some exciting things. But take a little bit of time off for the next week or so. But then we got some fun stuff coming up that we're going to be enjoying.
Very cool. Sounds like we all got a lot of stuff coming up. So does everybody in the chat. It's 7 o'clock. It's 7:01.
Real quick, we do need to shut that down. Just before we do, I did want to say, Mr. Mark J. Larson, I apologize. I don't have your link to your channel right in front of me here. But he says that he's got a trapping video coming up tomorrow at 4 o'clock Central Time. It's going to be live with NL Ghost Wolf at 6:30 Central Time. I'm going to try my absolute best to get there. I'm going to track you down as soon as we're done here. I'm subscribed to you, but I'm going to make sure the notifications on and things. I'm going to try and join you on that.
Writing it down.
I apologize if I had the thing, I'd put that on here. And anybody in the chat, if you have something coming up in the future like that, probably should have said this earlier. Send us an email or let us know whatever social. It doesn't matter how you let us know. Let us know before the stream. That way we can actually add it to the description down below. Talk about add a link in the chat, things like that. Make it a little bit easier for you in the future. That's what I got. I'm ready to finish my Monday because I am like tired here.
It's that
Anybody
time,
else got anything?
It's that time.
We'll see you right here on my channel next Monday.
Yep.
There it is.
Next Monday over there.
Everybody have a great week.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciated it. I needed this. I have had a super Monday kind of Monday, and I thank you very much for helping me kind of decompress and get out of that. I look forward to seeing you guys all on Grant's channel next Monday, 6 o'clock Central. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful week.